sitting down with the captain, the owner of the Frostfire Titans, Xephyreous. Steph, thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah, hey, what's up, buddy?
Um, First things first, I want to start out with an impressive win in Game 3 to continue the series. You, time and time again, showed that Frostfire can come out and play some great hockey. One of the first things I recognized, Crave Dog, you and Crave Dog. You were making swift give and go passes the entire time. And I know your friendship runs deep. I want you to take me back to those origins. Where did this all start?
It's actually an interesting question. Last season, season two, I was on a different team. I was on Florida Panthers, and that ownership absolutely just crumbled, fell apart, and Panda put Crave Dog, who wasn't even on our team, as our owner. And my whole team was like, Zeph, you should take it, you should take it. And then Panda just gave it to Crave Dog, so I was like, wow, okay. So I was super salty. And I hop into a party and I'm like, dude, like, who are you, bro? Like, you're not even on our squad. Like, why are you whatever? And he was like, hey, man, just chill. Like, we're good. We're going to figure this out. I was like, all right. So I was like real hot. And then as I got to know him, I was like, wow, this is just one of the nicest, coolest dudes like I've ever played Chell with. And he's always just a total badass every time he steps on the ice, quick to pass, deadly shot, and he does all the little things right. And people don't really understand how great of a playmaker he is, but more importantly, how awesome he is at defense. It is so subtle. He is probably the best defensive winger I've ever played with. So hands down, him and I kind of like we would get on, we would practice, run plays, for all throughout last season and this season. I like to think we're kind of a dynamic duo. And when we didn't have him for you know, this season, for a large part of the season, the team was hurting. But, getting back before playoffs was a huge boost that we needed. And, we're glad to have him back for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. He's definitely been a game changer for you
Oh,
guys.
for sure.
But continuing about Crave Dog being,
Mhm.
and matter of fact, the whole front line,
Mhm.
Wickstrom, you, Crave Dog being just snipers in
Mhm.
game 2 and 3. You're cutting them close. And for game 4, you came out, you won the game.
Mhm.
Game 3, you lost by one.
Mhm.
Was there an analysis in between games of, I'm seeing holes in Cheech, I'm seeing holes in this defense. We're taking zone, we're doing all the right things, but Cheech has been able to stop a lot of shots. What was one thing you saw?
Well,
What were the holes you saw in Cheech's game that you just attacked so well?
to be honest with you, there was none. Uh, that's not how all season. That's not how I've approached coaching and setting our lineups and running it for us. It was focusing on ourselves. Yeah, I don't like to point the finger. I like to point my thumb. And genuinely, like the game-winning goal was my mistake. I cut in. I went to pass up to my wing. For some reason, I got an EA pass. It went to the slot, and of course, it lands right on Panda's stick, and he gets a breakaway there. Without that, probably game goes into overtime. And honestly, with the mojo, if you watched game three, we dominated them 11 minutes time on attack to 3.5. So, almost doubled them on shots, like 26 to 16, something like that. So if you look at the stat sheet for especially those last two games, we kind of were all over them. And it's easy to look at and go, well, the Dragons are the best team, and they definitely were through the regular season. But if you take a look at what we had to go through to get here, we went through the Numi Nordiques. They were as good a team as any, probably labeled to go to the finals. We took them out in 7 games. Then you get Alaska, a great team with the best goalie, hands down, in Scuba Steve. And we come out and we take it to another game 7. For us being down, we're no strangers to being underdogs, and we knew that no matter what happened game 3, that we were going to be able to come back and get one for sure game 4. We were all confident. We weren't stressing, and honestly, we weren't worried about what they were doing. We were worried about what we had to do to be successful.
Uh, you guys were definitely successful there.
Yeah.
Um, Continuing about Panda.
Mm,
He had some interesting things to say about you in this interview with Frost. Um,
I'd love to hear it.
he he had some interesting things to say about the team.
Mm,
He said that he doesn't think there's going to be a game 6 or game 7.
mm.
What do you say to that?
You know, it's interesting. There's a difference between confidence and hubris, right? I'm really confident in my guys because of the way that we've struggled together, grew together, and pushed forward together as a team all season long. I mean, the boys, if you don't, the people who don't know me, they have a preconceived notion about me based upon, whatever people that have, not even met me. But the guys that do know me, the guys that are in the trenches with me, um, we all fight for each other. So for us, I think the most important thing here is that we again take it one game at a time. I'm not looking at game 5, 6, 7. Let their hubris be their downfall, and we just push forward and do what we know we have to do. And like I said to Panda earlier today, we still have some secret weapons up our sleeve. And he said, "Well, who is that? What player is that going to be?" And I said, "I didn't say it was a player." So we have some strategies, we have some plans, to of attack in order to create some make this a juicy series for sure.
Absolutely. Um, the blue line trap.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things about the Frostfire team.
Hmm.
It it's such an effective way to really play some defense, and
Hmm.
you guys have shown that you can use it to an effective way.
Mm.
How did you implement the blue line trap, and how often did you guys practice it to really become what I would say masters at the blue line trap?
So it started last season, um, with me and Crave Dog kind of preaching that to Booyah, who never gets any credit. He was kind of like a laughing stock of the league last season. But I know Booyah outside of this league, and that we met playing Chell, and he's honestly just he deserves the A on his jersey for his ability to keep growing and keep learning. And it was me, him, and Crave Dog who kind of started that concept. I would I'm a very you know I preach defense first when it comes to the transition game and getting the pucks up the ice because I'm the center. So I like being able to get the puck up the middle. And it just seemed like if you don't have any crazy superstar game changers like a Panda who can snipe from anywhere or whatever, the best way to kind of win was to just, okay, well, let's lock it down as a team and make ourselves get good chances. And that's really where it started. So it started last season, but moving into this season, it kind of struggled. We didn't really have um, as much of a success as we did last season. So it was definitely we had to jump over some hurdles and some obstacles. And I would say about midway through the season, I had a team meeting, and it wasn't mandatory, but a lot of people showed up, and I just went through all the plays where we weren't trapping, and went through all the plays where we were, and showed all of the opportunities that came from that. Along with some advanced analytics that showed how we needed to step things up. And once I did that, the guys really started to buy in. And from there, it was a full team game. No matter what lineup we rolled, everybody was preaching trap, trap, trap. Scratch has been an unhealthy scratch. First round pick, top D man in this league. He preaches it constantly, almost more than me now at this point. So for us, it's just about making sure we maintain the correct amount of pressure, but also clogging up the neutral zone, making it hard for them to get into our zone.
Oh, back to unhealthy
Hmm.
preaching game. Who has been, if there's multiple, please state the guys that say in the middle of intermission, just be like, hey, we may be down, but we got to calm it down. We got to run the trap. We got to trust our instincts. We got to trust in Zeph.
Yeah.
Who have been the forefront of that?
Well, we have a really good locker room. It's a shame that they didn't want to the league decided not to push forward with the play 2 games in a row. That's max, and then another line has to play because I have a full team of guys that really was excited to roll and get in. But at the end of the day, it's really the core group of guys that have been playing these playoffs that are want to play, give me full availability, and are in it to win it no matter what. That are the guys that are talking in those intermissions, and everyone has their own way of style of doing it. Scratch, he's like me. He's talkative. He gets his points across and make sure everybody understands. And Booyah just is very calm and assertive, and it's just like, we got this. We're gonna get this. Fighter Jet, he's actually my brother in real life. Yeah, he because he's kind of like new to leagues, and we played in leagues before, but like this is his first time really being in it and really being in a deep playoff run, like for real. He he's like quick to be like, they ain't shit, boys. We got this. Um, and his youthful optimism is great, but genuinely, it's probably me, just kind of harping down on the points, the same things until just getting it through the guy's head. Like, hey, we got this. We're gonna do this. Come on, all season long, we've been the underdogs. We're gonna do it again. Let's go. And yeah, I mean, really, it's just the whole group of guys. And then honestly, Acuna, who's our a great tendy. Yeah, he always kind of bridges it together with some levity, and just kind of just totally saying some off the wall stuff that makes us laugh, even though we're stressed out, and kind of resets the tone.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Acuna, my God,
Mm,
he had a really, really great game four, 940 save percentage.
yeah.
First game, little bit of trouble.
Mm, hmm.
Uh, I saw a lot of pucks die at his feet, and he's a very, very calm guy. He's very confident. I don't know if this is overreaching, but was there at any point in the comms like he started to get a little agitated and you had to calm him down, which I'd find hard to believe if Acuna in that moment were to get mad.
Yeah, no. Acuna is the kind of person that he's very smart, but he plays dumb. So he self actualizes really well and he adjusts really well. You don't really need to coach him too much. He doesn't get stressed out. He doesn't get, he gets like stressed out. It's funny because he's just so silly. He says off the wall shit, like I said. So we kind of just laugh it off, and then we just readjust. Our whole thing, like all these questions are pretty solid. The truth really is that we have a good locker room. We all genuinely enjoy playing with each other. So, you know, if someone gets frustrated, another one of us is very quick to be like, it's all good. We got this. There's nobody points the fingers. Last night I make a bad play in game 3. No one was mad. Everyone said, that's all right. We'll get them game 4. And we did. It's just about all season long, no matter what league I'm in, no matter how long I've been playing, I preach the same shit, which is stay positive, keep going, no matter what. We have a chance as long as game's not over. We've scored 3, 4 goals in the last minute of a period before. So it's not out of the realm of possibility, even in playoffs, even against the best team, all season long. So we're always in it. We're never out, and we don't get frustrated. And even when we do, it's short-lived.
It's a great answer. um, I want to talk about the power play bit.
Mm,
Uh, you noticed Camarocha, a bit of a penalty team,
mm,
huh? Uh, gave up a lot of minutes to be down one or even down two. Uh, on your power play,
mm.
there was multiple power plays where you guys got multiple shots on Cheech and he was dog tired.
Yeah.
A lot of the time I would see it and I'd be like, just how is this guy making a save?
Mm,
But when when you look at a team like Frostfire who are very shot oriented, I mean, I'm pretty sure you were top three in shots in the regular season.
mhm.
Were you at all frustrated with yourself for not scoring one on a power play? I mean, you have such an effective shot. that like when you see a goalie dog tired, you think it's going to be a freebie, but when Cheech stands tall, does it get to you a little bit at all, or do you just regain and go at the next
Nah,
drive?
I mean, look, like I said, we don't get miffed easy. We have a lot of poise, and I think that's a huge. I think our previous playoff runs speak to that. I think our season-ending run speaks to that. We don't get rattled easily. You'd expect a lot of people
Absolutely.
down 3-0 in a series against the best team in the league to be stressing out. We're not. It's just one play at a time, one game at a time, one shot at a time. When Cheech, look, get full credit to him. If you go back and you look at the stats, game two, game three, and game four, we absolutely dominated Camarucho. Their goalies have been good, and their defenders have found ways to get the puck and be very effective in ways that have been, difficult for us. But it's not something that we're bashing our heads against the wall about trying to figure out what is this, what's happening, why can't we score? We know the game, we know how it is. We know one little squeaker can squeak through and get us back in the game. And we know that one really great snipe, or one really great play, like Crave Dog or Wick or whoever's out there can come in and just dominate. So, we don't stress out. Like we see a good goalie, we just go, all right, another barrier we have to run through. That's it.
Okay. Going back to the regular season,
Mhm.
11 game win streak to finish it off.
Yeah.
Was it a thing of we're unstoppable, or was it just that you guys played really really sound hockey? You tightened it up. You wanted to be a sure shot for playoffs.
Mhm. Well, most of the season I played multiple lines as best as I could. And we had some issues with certain players, just not fitting in with the locker room. And I had to make some, the necessary moves to make that adjustment. And so through that, we had a jumbled second line all season long, and I tried my best to get those guys in, but they just didn't win games. And that was a huge part because I was really trying to build that second line for the playoffs, like a lot of teams, were trying to do before they changed it. And I personally, was trying to be ready for playoffs with multiple lineups so that I could throw a completely different lineup out there and hope to get that expectation. So we were down, is my point. We were down because I wasn't playing our top lines. I wasn't playing our best lineups every night. I was trying to build those best lineups and build multiple lineups as the season went on, and that we didn't get that opportunity. Um, obviously. So when it came down to it towards the end of the season, and we have all of our guys, we're all ready to go, we're all grinding, and we're all going in. Once we get on 2 games, 3 games, four games, 5 games, it's like, okay, we're in this. Then you beat Camarucho with a commanding victory in that streak. We beat the Ice Hawks. We beat uh the Nordiques. We beat every team that was a top team and handedly, and kind of, flew under the radar. Nobody was expecting us to do that. So, once we had that vibe on our shoulders and we felt like we can do this, it was the right time to start ticking up, right? It was the right time to really pick it up and start dominating. And yeah, we rolled into playoffs with a lot of confidence.
Yeah, confidence. Back to Acuna, having to face Panda, in the finals for the cup.
Yeah.
Um, Talk about that short side. You know it's coming. You told me when I was first in that against Camarocha. You told me you were like, Panda's gonna go the short side, and I somehow overthought it, and it still went through. Do you think that Acuna has been able to read that short side pretty effectively here in the later games of the series?
Reading it is one thing, and then overcompensating to the point where in this game, look, it's EA. It's goals are going to get by when you're playing as a sniper with high shot, close quarters, and you get into a dangerous area. unless you are overcompensating and there is no net to shoot at. It's not real life. If we were in real life, Panda's goals wouldn't go in nearly as much. And that's not a knock on his skill, it's just a knock on the game. He's a right-handed shot, comes down, still snipes. Even if you are adjusting to that, he's going to squeak them in. Look at handful of the goals that our team has scored over the course of the season, and we have snuck it in when there's no space to go in, short side or just stuffing it in. It's just the way the game is. So if you have a guy who and give him credit, a lot of people are quick to say to Panda like it's all you do is skate in and short side. The reality is he does it well. He does it better than anyone that I've seen in recent years. You know, he's not really flashy. He doesn't really come in with a lot of great skating skill. He doesn't throw the body. He's not that great defensively. He's slightly above average. He doesn't really do much on the other end that makes you really wet your whistle. It's just that he's got that dangerous shot and he's good at getting in the zone and getting it out. He doesn't do anything else crazy. And once he knows that he has that chance and people start to pick on him, people get the puck, he makes a quick pass across to someone wide open. That's what happened to us game one. And that's what happened to us game two. We overcompensated for Panda instead of just making it in general harder to get in our zone. So as far as Acuna goes, does he do a good job? Yeah, he does as good as any goalie in the league could do against, a method of scoring that is high success rate. But some are going to go in. He's just going to keep fighting through them, and nothing's going to stop us or him, from doing what we have to do. We can't overcompensate. It's not just Panda. He's got a lot of other good players on their team that could be sneaky good. So, it's about, just adjusting as a full team, not just for one player, as good as he may be.
Um, Going back to Jetty,
Mm,
super good rookie season.
yeah.
I I'm thoroughly impressed. Watching him play left wing or right wing pretty much the whole season. I don't think I saw him once at D, but I could be wrong.
Mm.
Um, in playoffs, playing him at right D. What came to the decision of that? Where was Jetty just the best option you had there?
Well, I'm really hard on him. He's my little brother. So I'm really tough on him and I've been playing chat with him since like my whole life. So for
Right.
me, I know what he could do and the truth is that he's probably a better player than I am. He just is afraid to show what he can do. Played a lot of support role and then once Crave Dog went down, I put him in more of like a scoring role trying to, create some opportunities and he did that well. But Jetty can play every position and he can play every position more than above average. So, I have him on our roster. I wrote utility player because he could play anywhere. Um, Goalie used to be his main, but he's just got so much skill out on the ice, and I think you saw it last night. Anybody who actually watched, he did a really great job at cutting off in the neutral zone. He did a really great job at pressuring and getting really great breakout passes and creating turnovers really fast and getting the puck up fast. He's not an offensive player. He's a full, complete player. So when he gets out there on the ice, he's looking to do whatever he can with whatever's within his skill set. And on top of that, he's doing it all with a level 13 player. So
Yeah.
it's always a joke for us. We always say, hey, wait till you get elite edges. You'll be good, kid.
Yeah. Always rocking that Bowens PMD on the wing
Yeah, no, he did
throughout
that
the
for a few.
season.
He did that for a couple of games, but he ended up playing playmaker as majority of the season, and then even last night he's like, "Can I just play playmaker as D? I'll be fine." But we talked him against it. And he played puck mover, but still, he's a good kid. He's a great player, and I think if he plays, to his maximum potential for the rest of this season and for next season, I think he'd be the kind of person that anybody on who has their eyes opened to the type of player he can be would, they would want to have him on their team for sure.
Yeah, and I want to take a second to commend you here before we end our interview.
Mm,
Um, I want to thank you for the phone call we had last night because
mm,
last night we exchanged words, but I feel like we came out the other side in a proper way,
yeah.
and I look forward to rebuilding a bridge that hopefully is not forever burnt. Um, And but for you as a person, yeah, you can't I can't doubt you anymore, especially when it comes to your skill in game and the person you are. Number one in goals, number two in shots, number one in faceoffs won, number one in interceptions. You've amplified the squad and you've amplified the way that you play for playoffs. You have created an absolutely monster team nobody expected to win. In your eyes, what went through your mind scouting and getting these players like Wickstrom, like Jetty, of course being your brother,
Mm.
like picking up Frunky in the draft, picking up Scratch in the draft. Like
Mm.
what went through your mind in the scouting game where you were like, I can build this effective team and we
Well,
can go all the way.
if you look back at our season, uh, we've had the same players on our team that is the core players that are in playoff now since the beginning. Primetime, Booyah, Scratch. Well, Booyah I traded for right after the draft, but Primetime, Scratch, Crunky, Jetty, um, Wickstrom, all of those are guys that we drafted. We knew the potential of our team. So, like I said, the doubters on the outside, I knew both from my advanced analytics and from all these other things that we were not a bottom feeder team or even a bad team. We were a good team, and if you did scouting and went and looked at a lot of our games, we lost a lot of one goal games. We lost a lot of games in OT that we could have won easily that we had the lead. You know, maybe 15 games over the course of the season that easily could have been wins that we just fumbled the bag or didn't have the right full core of guys in. And it wasn't until the win streak where we had our pretty solid set of guys that were playing pretty much every night. And once we had that, everything came to fruition. I can't praise my guys enough. I'm not an easy coach. I make sure that everybody understands that we're always going to continue to you know press forward and try new things and create and not be stale offensively. Try to update our defensive mindset constantly. And they've bought in, and we wouldn't be here without any of those guys. I mean, like I said, Scratch with not a chance without him. Primetime and Booyah, they've been absolute studs back on the back end, and Booyah in particular has just gotten so good over the course of the season. I don't think people realize how good he is. Again, he's another guy that I think people would. If they actually watched any of these games, other than the fact like bad plays, a loss here and there, that happens to everybody. But if you were to watch his gameplay, I think you'd see he's become a top elite blue liner in this league for sure. And he does everything right, and he just keeps progressing his game. So all of these players, Wick as well, he's got full untapped potential. I mean, I think Wick is going to be an elite forward for many years to come. If he continues to play in leagues. So there are so like I wouldn't be able to be any of the player that I am without the supporting cast and without the team around. So we win and lose as a team. We say it every time. We'll win and lose, whatever happens on Friday. We're going to be happy of our run, and we took it literally as far as you can go in a season, up to the very last day and last couple games. So we're proud of where we are, win or lose. Of course, we're going to go for the win, and we think we can win. It's just 3 games. It's nothing. And if you look back at the 3 games, like I said, we've dominated them. So I'm not afraid.
That's great to hear. And I'd extend my hand, but we live in two different states.
Mhm.
I want to thank you for sitting down with me
Sure,
today
man.
and taking time out of your day.
Yeah, of course. Anything. I want to make the league grow. I want to help the league however I can. Um, I think people are quick to judge because I am passionate and I'm intense. And I think people just at the end of the day they kind of live behind the Discord veil and they don't realize that there's other people on the other end. So I do whatever I can to try to help the league, and I have since I got here. And I'll continue to do that for as long as I'm here. And I just want to see this league grow. So I have no problem sitting down and doing a call and making sure that people, kind of can get a better sense and get some good content, maybe open their eyes a little bit to what they didn't understand about Frostfire or me or whoever. So I think it's important to do that. And, I'm excited to see where it turns out. And hopefully, I'm sure you guys will do a great job and, put another exciting cast. I wanted to say congrats to you. You did a great job um, on Wednesday. Everybody said you did a pretty good job on the call, and I agree. And I think you pushed it forward, and I think it ran through you. So, keep it up, and hope to see you for Friday as well.
I'll be there Friday. Thank you very much for the words.
Before we end the interview, because we're running out of time here, but before we end the interview, this is Invoke here. Yes, Jay did a fantastic job last night, and he will be back for Friday. But I'd just like to say that this was a good interview, and the chat in the live stream from Thursday or yesterday was very behind you guys the entire game, playing mind games with Panda, trying to distract him. And I feel like they did a pretty good job. And I know for a fact that some of those people will be back for Friday's game to try to play the same hand that they did for Wednesday's game. So
Let me finalize with this. Anybody who watched those games, who has eyeballs, who isn't just biased because they want someone to like them, watches those games, knows who the better team really is. And I think anybody here who actually looks and watches and goes through the stats and looks through, the both in playoffs, and I'm not talking about points. I'm talking about the analytics of the game as teams. I think you'll see that there is one team that no matter how down they are, no matter what their backs up against the wall or what they're up against, they always keep pushing forward. And Frostfire is looking forward to getting the cup. So win or lose, like I said, we had a good season, and we're gonna keep pushing until we make it to the end.
and I assume you'll be back for season 3, the rebranding of PHL.
Yeah, absolutely. We're gonna be the Philadelphia Flyers representing the hometown. The Kraken was taken. So we're taking the hometown Philly Flyers, and we are going to dominate. So anybody who is listening to this and wants to scout, you guys can shoot us a message. We're going to be running scouting probably this weekend, if not coming up after during the week. It all depends on how much of a break we get. I think we should get a couple of days after, winning the cup or making it to finals, whatever happens. I think we should get a couple of days there to kind of reset and refocus and start to rebrand ourselves and get back and start scouting. So once that happens, of course, if anybody wants to play for Philly and is willing to come and work hard, learn new things and play with a group of guys that are very passionate and excited about winning and playing the game and playing hockey in general, then Philly is definitely going to be a place for you. So if you are interested in that, definitely feel free to hit me up, Xephyreous in the chat, or Crave Dog or Unhealthy Scratch, or any of the guys that are going to be probably joining with us next season as well.
Cool. Like I said, we're just about out of time here, so we'll probably end the call there.